Okay, so another request. Today we're going to be making some donuts, and these donuts are French crullers. Uh, it's going to be made with a dough called pâte à choux. This is um, different than most of the other doughs or batters. We're going to partially cook this first, and then we're going to pipe it out and make the donuts. So we have some flour, 12 ounces of flour. I have a cup of water and a cup of milk. You can do all milk or all water. So normally if you're making something like an eclair, I choose half and half because it makes it just enough, just tender enough that I can put my pastry dough, my pastry cream, I can pipe it into there. If you just use all water, it's very crisp on the outside. It's hard to pipe that in. And if you use all milk, you don't get enough crispness. It's too bready. So I use a mixture. We have some salt, a little bit of sugar, some eggs, and this egg is just going to sit on the side. This is an extra egg in case I need it later, and I'll show you why. And then we have 8 ounces of butter. So I'm going to put all of this in the pan. Well, not all of it. I'm going to put my water, milk, the salt and sugar can just go right in with my flour, and then my butter is going to go in here, and we're going to heat that up. And once that comes to a boil, I'll show you the next steps. Okay, so this has come up to a boil now. We have it on high. Don't let it go over. Make sure your butter is completely melted in there. So we got a couple little pieces of butter left. It's almost there. Now we have our flour mixture. Once this is up to a boil, we're going to dump all of our flour in all at once, and we're going to start stirring it around. We're going to keep our temperature on here, and you'll see at some point this will just turn into a thick paste, and it'll start pulling away from the sides of the pan, and it's going to all look pretty clean. I can turn this down a little bit now. And we'll just cook it for a second. See, it comes away from the sides of the pan. Okay, make sure there's no clumps of flour left in here, and we can turn that off. Right, this is now going to go into our KitchenAid. And I'm going to put on there the paddle, and I'm going to get rid of some of that heat. Once this has come down to about 130 degrees, it'll still be pretty hot. We can start adding our eggs. We need to get rid of a little bit of that heat first. Our eggs are cold, so it's going to drop the temperature pretty fast. While that's happening, I have oil heating up over here in a cast iron wok. And the wok is good because if the oil starts bubbling up, the surface area of the wok increases, and so it's harder to go over the edge with your oil than it is in a straight sided pan. It's just safer. Okay, so we've gotten rid of some of that temperature. Now I have 6 eggs here. I'm going to put in 1 egg at a time, or try to. Sometimes you get 2 in there, it doesn't matter. You let that mix through for a second. Add the next one. Now once we get to all these eggs in there, we're going to start looking for a specific, you can see it's like a batter starting to form now. It's like it's a thick paste rather than just a very dry mass. Now this is going to go through a couple steps. One of them is going to still be shiny. Looks a little dry still. And this is where our other egg comes in. We're going to whip this and then we're going to see if we need that other egg. I'm going to turn this off for a second. You can see this paste is starting to form, but it's not all clumped together very good yet. So let's get some of this off the sides. And this is certainly going to need that other egg, maybe even 1 more. So you can see now it's a little bit of a dull paste, a dull color. It's not shiny anymore. This is kind of what we want to see. And it's very sticky, all of it. So this is what we want. Now we're just going to turn it up a little bit. We want to get some air into that and make sure that the batter on the inside of the hook and the paddle is mixed in. And it looks pretty good. I'm gonna get 1 more egg in here because I want this to be pretty loose for our piping. Not getting any shells in there. Alright, scrape it down 1 more time. Give it 1 more mix, and then this is ready to go. So I'm going to put some of this into our pastry bag. It's fitted with a very large star. Piping tip. Okay, that's ready to go. Over here, we're going to take some cooking spray, and we're going to spray some pieces of parchment that I cut out earlier, just little squares of parchment. And then we're going to pipe our crullers onto them and make sure you overlap. You'll have to get a feeling for how big you want these, because these will be about 4 times the size you see here on the paper once you're done cooking them. They're really quite big. Okay. All right, so once our oil is up to temperature, we were going to fry these. So our oil is at a little over 350 degrees. I fry it at 350 or so. Some places might say do it 365, but I think it doesn't cook the inside as good, and you lose some more of your shape. So I'm just going to take these, and I'm going to flip them off onto right into the oil. And we could probably only fit 3 of these in at a time, as you'll see how big they get. After a minute, we'll flip them over, and and then we'll flip them back. They tend to lose a lot of their shape when they start expanding, but it's okay, they still taste good. I'm in the star shape. Okay, so we will just cook off these, and we have plenty more batter to pipe out, and then we'll put a glaze on them. Okay, this is the first ones we put in. You can see they're really starting to expand now. They're opening up at the where the star bit is. See that one? This is when they really start to get big, because the inside is cooking and expanding. It's making these hollow, and that's what's going to make them really nice and light. So we're gonna flip them again so we can cook that batter that's been exposed there, and then these are almost done. Okay, so all of our donuts are fried. You can see they're still warm. You can see the steam coming out of that one. Look how nice this one is. Look how big that is. It's like the size of your head. Okay, so we're going to make a maple glaze to go with this. So I have 1.5 cups of confectionery sugar. I have a little bit of vanilla extract. I'm going to put that in there, and I have some milk. So I'm not sure how much milk yet I'm going to use, but I'm going to use a couple tablespoons of maple syrup. And put that in there. I put my vanilla extract in already. And I'm going to just stir this through a little bit and get an idea of how much milk I'm going to need. So we just want this to be a light glaze, and it doesn't take much. Right. That looks pretty good. If we add too much milk, it'll spread out on these too much. All right, and we're going to just take this and get it drizzling from our spoon. And put the maple glaze on there. Oh, a lot of that one. This dough, this batter, the pâte à choux, doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. So this is the only real sugar you're getting out of this. And we can put a few on a platter here, and we'll take them to our neighbor, so we don't have to eat all these. Just get some here with these that we can get. Okay, and that's it. That's a nice one.